Hello everyone, my name's Matt Johnston and welcome to the Friday Interesting Times, where the show is fit to burst with political comedy from the UK. If you're not in the UK, you might just assume that we as a nation are maybe struggling with reality just a tiny little bit. Well, to you naysayers, I say begone, unbelievers. We true red, white and blue Brits know where our priorities lie.
Hello, I'm Harry Cole, the political editor of The Sun. As we revealed on our front page, the government has got itself into an extraordinary turn of events with Taylor Swift.
Maybe it was a story about Taylor Swift in the paper.
Taylor Swift, Keir Starmer, what's going on?
The Prime Minister's office is telling us that the 10-minute chat that he had with Taylor Swift...
Oct Taylor Gate.
Not only did he go and accept hospitality from the record label, he then also went backstage to meet with his family to meet Taylor Swift.
It's time for Keir Starmer to do the right thing and launch an investigation into the Taylor Swift scandal.
What that cost the taxpayer to get Taylor Swift from her hotel to the concert under blue light escort.
I guess the problem for the PM here is that it's not kind of all that illogical to link the VIP blue light escort for Taylor Swift.
The Prime Minister met Taylor Swift and her mother at Wembley after Number 10 allegedly pressured the Met to break with protocol and give a VVIP taxpayer-funded police escort.
It keeps rumbling on, doesn't it? The Taylor Swift freebie scandal.
And yes, can he shake it off?
Oh, it's so dishonest again, Mike. Why wouldn't you say, guess what, we even got the chance to meet her?
For free tickets, he seems to be quite easily put in the pocket of promoters. He then gets lucky Reverend Starmer 10 minutes of her time.
No, lucky, that's the other one.
Well, let's have a look, shall we, at everyone telling you that this isn't a story. We've got Mikey Smith at the Daily Mirror. Mikey was obsessed with Partygate.
Actually, the Partygate story was more about Boris Johnson partying when people couldn't attend funerals or see dying relatives. But at least Boris, I'm sure, understands how overblown this story is.
Taylor Swift, the persuaded Keir Starmer.
Are you actually kidding me? Okay, the scandal is that Taylor Swift's mother wanted VVIP, which stands for very, very important. You know what? No, I'm not doing this. Sorry, but this is ridiculous. It's a non-story, only being made a story by Taylor Swift being famous and Keir Starmer being Labour. They met, they said hello and exchanged pleasantries, and I'm sure Starmer will be declaring those pleasantries soon. Now, don't get me wrong, there are certain things about this story that stinks, but this is so far removed from being newsworthy that everyone pretending it is should feel a degree of shame and ask themselves if this is what they wanted to become a journalist for. Now, there are important stories out there and plenty of things to have a go at Starmer about. Let's start with this. Just over a year after Hamas kidnapped hostages, and then Netanyahu's government unleashed hell on defenceless people for simply daring to be within 20 miles of anyone suspected of being a member, Starmer is at least deciding to do something about it.
Israeli Finance Minister Smotrich had said that starving 2 million people in Gaza might be justified and moral. National Security Minister Ben-Gvir called settlers who killed a 19-year-old on the West Bank heroes. So will the Prime Minister now sanction Ministers Ben-Gvir and Smotrich?
We are looking at that because they're obviously abhorrent comments, as he rightly says.
Yes, what they said is abhorrent, but the more important thing is what they're actually doing. So that's what should be addressed. We've stopped some arms being sold to Israel, but that's only 10%. Surely we can stop the rest. Sorry, no jokes there. What else? Oh yes, the assisted dying bill. All the light stuff here. That was put forward yesterday by Kim Ledbetter as a private member's bill, so no guarantee it'll pass. Now, you've got people backing it, like Dame Esther Rasmussen. Yes, I appreciate the irony of someone calling for assisted dying is most famous for hosting a show called That's Life. But it also has its objectives, like Baroness Tanny Gray-Thompson, who said it could be used to coerce vulnerable members of society, particularly the disabled, into taking this option. By the way, in case you're wondering, Dame beats Baroness in the title wars. It goes Dame, Duchess, Countess, Viscountess, Baroness, Lady, Maid, Freedwoman, Bondswoman, Serf, Nadine Dorris. What else? How about Seema Kennedy, a director at Ofwat and ex-Tory minister? You can probably see where this is going. She is trying to make it harder for people to take water companies to court over breaching legal sewage limits. And in related news, she is also a paid senior advisor to the lobbying firm Global Counsel, which works for the industry body that represents all the UK's big water companies. And speaking of conflicts of interest, how about this one? Alan Milburn, who 20 odd years ago was responsible for the PFI, Private Finance Initiative, is being brought back into NHS meetings by his good old mate Wes Streeting. For those that don't know, the thinking behind PFI was that private companies would loan money to the NHS and then get repayments. The problem is that because of rising costs of work, the Tories' austerity, etc., work wasn't being done, but repayments were still having to be made, and a lot of the hospitals nearly went to the wall because of it. So you think Alan Milburn, a man that wonders where savings can be made in a hospital bed, might not be the best individual to be brought back in. Or maybe he's now learnt his lesson. Maybe he has, but he has still gotten some £8.5 million from AM Strategy, a private healthcare consultancy firm. Although Wes Streeting has assured everyone that the NHS will still be free at the point of use. Oh, and this just in, HCRG Care Group has been awarded a £1.3 billion contract to take over some NHS community care projects in the West Country for profit. This also in, Wes Streeting is a liar. Any more? Well, the budget is happening in less than a fortnight, and a lot of the cabinet ministers aren't happy.
Sky News understands that some cabinet ministers have written to the Prime Minister in an urgent attempt to soften some of the spending cuts being considered ahead of the budget.
An update on this story. Yesterday was meant to be the deadline for most of the process of the preparation of the budget, that last night the Treasury was unable to conclude the negotiations with more than one government department over how many cuts, how big the cuts should be, and to what in this year's budget and next year's budget those cabinet ministers would have to implement in order to deal with what they say is a massive black hole.
Yes, Rachel Cutty McCutty-Face Reeves is looking to make more cuts than Freddy Krueger retraining as a barber, as she looks to make savings of some £40 billion in Labour's first budget at the end of the month. But yeah, Taylor Swift, blue lights, etc.
Are the papers making too much of this Keir Starmer Taylor Gate?
Let's have some lighter news. How about this? Despite the likes of perennial losers like Rishi Sunak and James Cleverly telling the Tory party not to turn on itself over the choice of leader, it seems that they're being ignored, which is fair enough. If you're trying to win the Conservative leadership race, you're not going to take advice from a man that lost to Liz Truss and another that lost to himself. Conservative MP Sir Michael Chope had backed Robert Jenrick for the following reasons.
I myself am supporting Robert Jenrick because I think he's brought more energy and commitment to the campaign, and being leader of the opposition is a really demanding job. And much as I like Kemi, I think she's preoccupied with her own children, quite understandably.
He then went on to call Kemi Badenoch a lovely girl who should smile more. Meanwhile, one of Kemi's backers, Michael Gove, now editor at the Peeping Tom, Spectator, said that Jenrick can't be Tory leader for an even more ridiculous reason. He said that Jenrick is a Tory boy. The elections don't even finish until next month, where Jenrick with a trident and net will face Badenoch with a sword and shield. And finally, the English FA have gotten a new coach, a chap called Thomas.
England were considering appointing only the third non-English manager to ever take charge of the men's senior football team, and of course a German coach.
And it's fair to say the reception for the new caretaker for our national sport has been mixed.
I didn't say I wanted an Englishman to manage England. You know, I'm very patriotic. I think we should have an English manager. But
and I think that I would have preferred an Englishman to represent our country.
He was an English manager. I dislike this. The headline in your paper might be a bit strong, Andrew. A dark day for England.
A dark day, screams the Daily Mail. But what does the man himself have to say?
We deserve a fair chance. We deserve the credit for having a good record in the country, for never being shy of how much we love to live in the country and how much we enjoy to work with the players in Premier League. Maybe this counts a little bit for a British edge on my German passport.
I actually travel around the world on my English football fans passport. It's great. There's no extra charges for arriving past boarding time or going over your hand luggage, or even overstaying in airport car parks. It's great. You can miss lots of penalties with this. The real fear for the press, might I suggest, isn't that this guy fails. Hey, we're England fans. There's a certain expectation when it comes to that. But that he succeeds. I mean, what then? A plinth in Trafalgar Square? Praise from the press? A blue light police escort? Or... Thank you all so much for watching, and if you have enjoyed these vids, then feel free to like, subscribe, share, and hit all the notifications bell, and I'll see you all Sunday. Take care.